There are moments in life where you're not just watching something. You're being spoken to. You're not here by accident. You're here because your soul needed to hear this. You've been wrestling with something deep, something real. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's purpose. Maybe it's calling. And God has been trying to wake you up. You've been busy. You've been tired. But this message, this one, it's for the chosen ones. The ones who can't seem to sleep right anymore. The ones who feel the weight of a destiny bigger than their surroundings. If that's you, then hear me now. God will not let you rest until you respond to the fire He's lit inside you. You didn't choose this life chose you. Before you ever spoke a word, before the world labeled you, God called you. You are not random. You are not common. There is something stitched in your DNA that separates you from the crowd. And that's why the path has been so hard. That's why the people around you don't understand you. Because you're marked. You're different. You're the one who's meant to break the curse, not carry it. You're the one who was sent to light the torch in the middle of darkness. And that weight you feel, that pressure, that's the sign. That's the mark of the chosen. You've been marked since the beginning. Before you even opened your eyes to this world, before a doctor held you, before your name was ever spoken aloud, something greater than you placed a seal on your life, a seal of purpose, a seal of destiny, a divine fingerprint that said, this one will not live an ordinary life. You see, chosen ones are not born into comfort. They are born into responsibility. And you felt it, haven't you? That lingering sense that you don't quite fit. That even in a crowd, you're still separate. You're watching the world play its part, and yet something in your spirit says, this isn't it. There's more. I meant for something more. It's not arrogance. It's not pride. It's recognition. A deep, sacred knowing that you weren't created just to work a job, pay bills, and die. You were built for impact, designed to disturb darkness, equipped to carry light. But that's not a title you wear on your chest. It's a burden you carry in your soul. And it's heavy. Because when you are chosen, life doesn't give you ease. It gives you pressure. Pressure to see what you'll do with the pain. Pressure to see if you'll rise or retreat. The truth is, your entire life has been preparing you for a moment you haven't even seen yet. Every failure, every heartbreak, every silent cry in the night when no one knew you were breaking, all of it was preparing you. See, you've been asking, why is my life so hard? While heaven has been saying, because you're the one who can handle it. You were chosen not because you were the most gifted, but because you were the most willing to fall and get back up, willing to be misunderstood, willing to carry the weight when others collapse under it. Some people have privilege. You have purpose, and purpose costs. Purpose isolates. Purpose demands discipline. Purpose calls you away from the crowd and says, you don't get to do what they do because you're not who they are. And that hurts. It hurts to watch others live without conscience while you feel every consequence. It hurts to see people win with shortcuts while you're still grinding in silence. But that's the mark. That's how you know you're different. Because everything you touch is weight. Every decision echoes louder. Every mistake seems to cost more. But it's not punishment. It's positioning. God is refining you. Stripping away what can't go with you into your next chapter. Because what's coming is too big to carry with weak hands or divided hearts. The doors that are meant for you will not open until you become the version of yourself who can walk through them. So stop comparing your journey. You weren't built for quick wins. You were built for eternal impact. And impact takes time. It takes process. It takes pressure. That pressure you feel is not a sign to quit. It's proof that something sacred is growing inside you. The enemy knows it. That's why the attacks have been personal. That's why the wounds go deep. That's why the loneliness feels endless. Because the more marked you are, the more targeted you become. But even the darkness knows you're not one to break. You're one to build. You're the one sent to break the cycle, shift the atmosphere, carry the mantle. So yes, you're tired. Yes, it's heavy. But look at you, still standing, still breathing, still waking up with a fire that won't go out. That's the mark. That's the calling. You're not ordinary. And you know it. Deep down, you've always known. So stop running. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. God already did. You wouldn't be alive if he didn't have a mission stamped on your name. You were marked long before you were noticed. You were chosen before you were accepted. And you will be crowned, not because the world gave you glory, but because you walked through the fire and didn't lose your soul. You stayed true. You stayed faithful. You stayed ready. And now the time is coming. The rising is near, because the chosen ones don't just survive storms. They learn to speak to them. And now that you know who you are, nothing can ever be the same again. You keep thinking something is wrong with you. You keep asking why you can't sleep, why you wake up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, why you're restless even in silence. It's not a mental breakdown. It's not a random anxiety attack. What you're feeling is not weakness. It's awakening. It's the divine alarm clock sounding off inside your spirit saying, it's time. You weren't created for comfort. You were created for purpose. And purpose comes wrapped in discomfort. It shakes you. It stirs you. It won't let you settle. You've been trying to silence it, haven't you? Numbing it with distractions, covering it with business, trying to drown it in noise. But it keeps coming back. That still, small voice that grows louder when the world gets quiet. That tension in your chest that won't let go. That's not your body failing you. That's your destiny trying to wake you up. And if you are truly chosen, God will not let you sleepwalk through your life. He will disturb your peace. He will remove your comfort. He will allow the pressure not to destroy you, but to develop you. Discomfort is the proof that something greater is calling you. You're being stretched. You're being pulled out of your old patterns, your old habits, your old self. Growth is not gentle. It breaks. It rebuilds. And if you're truly walking in purpose, you must be prepared for the pain of becoming. You've outgrown your old environment, but you're still trying to shrink yourself to fit. That's why you're restless. Because you're trying to stay in a season that expired. You're trying to sleep in a room that no longer holds your assignment. Every time God calls someone into destiny, he disturbs their routine. Look at any chosen figure in Scripture, in history, in life. Before their rise came a moment of divine discomfort. A season where nothing made sense, but everything had meaning. A phase where friends faded, options closed, and the only thing left was faith. That's where you are now. suspended between the life you had and the life you're about to build. And it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary, because comfort is a liar. It tells you everything is fine while your purpose decays. It keeps you addicted to safety while your soul starves for meaning. And God will not allow those he's chosen to stay asleep in mediocrity. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Every time something in your life becomes uncomfortable, look closely. It's a doorway, a spiritual notification that elevation is near. But elevation requires separation. It requires confrontation. It demands that you face the things you've avoided and step into the places that scare you. You don't grow where it's easy. You grow where it's real. You grow when you stop running from the noise and start listening to it. That anxious energy, it's asking you to examine your path. That emotional tension, it's calling you to change your circle. That sleepless night, it's your calling knocking on your soul saying, you're not finished yet. So stop praying for comfort when God is trying to build your capacity. Stop asking for peace when he's trying to give you power. Your next level will not come in silence. It will come in the storm. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's exhausting. But look at what you've already survived. Look at how far you've come. Look at how many nights you wanted to quit and you didn't. That's not weakness. That's endurance. And now God is saying, if you'll just stop fighting this discomfort and start following it, I'll take you to places you've never dreamed. Your discomfort is not your enemy. It's your evidence. You are transitioning. You are transforming. And every great transformation comes with growing pains. So let the discomfort do its work. Let it move you, mold you, reshape you. Let it pull you out of spaces you no longer belong in. Because the more you resist it, the louder it becomes. And the moment you stop fighting it, the clarity begins. Because the chosen ones don't find their purpose in calm waters. They find it in the flood, in the fire, in the furnace. And if God had to make you uncomfortable to get you to your calling, then it was never a curse. It was always a calling in disguise. You've been standing in front of a closed door for far too long. You've been knocking, praying, pushing, begging, trying to make it open. But no matter what you did, no matter how many tears you shed or how many late nights you stayed up wondering why it stayed shut. And now you're questioning everything, your worth, your timing, your direction. But let me remind you of something sacred. Closed doors are not rejection. They're redirection. They're divine edits to your story. What you thought was a denial was actually a protection. What you saw as failure was actually a reroute. See, God doesn't waste his time blocking something unless he's trying to lead you to something better. The problem is we become so emotionally attached to what we want that we forget God sees what we can't. He sees the betrayal before the handshake. He sees the storm behind the smile. He sees the burden inside the blessing. And sometimes the most merciful thing he can do is say no. Not because he's cruel, not because he doesn't love you, but because that door would have derailed everything he planted in you. That opportunity would have robbed you of your identity. That relationship would have cost you your peace. So he shut it firmly, finally. And in doing so, he saved you. But we don't always see it that way. No, we mourn the door. We sit outside of it, crying for it to open, while God is behind us saying, turn around. There's another way, a better way, a door I handcrafted just for you. But we miss it because we're so stuck on what didn't work out. We mistake delay for denial. We confuse protection with punishment. And we begin to believe that maybe we're not worthy of open doors at all. But here's the truth. The enemy closes doors to break your spirit. God closes doors to build it. Every closed door in your life has been a masterclass in trust. Trusting that even when the path changes, the destination is still secure. Trusting that just because you can't see, it doesn't mean he hasn't planned it. You've got to stop idolizing the doors that closed and start preparing for the ones that are opening. Because if you're still crying over what God removed, your hands won't be free to receive what he's about to deliver. And it's coming, but it's only coming to those who let go. You've been given glimpses, intuition, inner knowing, that whisper that says, you're meant for more than this. That tug that tells you, you weren't supposed to stay there. That quiet pull away from certain people, certain paths, certain places. That's not fear. That's divine intelligence. That's your spirit responding to a closed door that no longer serves you. And it takes courage to walk away without clarity, to leave without knowing what's next. But that's what the chosen ones are built for. We don't wait for guarantees. We move with faith. And don't confuse being stuck with being planted. Sometimes God will allow a season of waiting after the door closes, not to test your patience, but to strengthen your roots. Because the next door, it won't be just an opportunity. It'll be alignment. And for alignment to happen, you have to be stable. You have to be grounded. You have to be ready. That's what the silence was for. That's what the quiet was developing. God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you for the door that won't just open. It will swing wide and stay open because it will be yours, designed for your voice, your gifts, your character. So don't grieve every closed door like it's the end. Praise him for it. Because when you walk with God, a closed door is just a comma, never a period. It's a pause, a holy pivot. It's divine direction wrapped in confusion. But once you make peace with it, once you stop asking why and start trusting the who behind it, you'll begin to see the beauty in the redirection. You'll begin to thank him for not letting you settle. You'll begin to praise him not just for what he gave, but for what he kept from you. Because the truth is, the closed door was never meant to hurt you. It was meant to heal you. And now, you're no longer chasing what was. You're walking boldly into what will be. That's the power of divine redirection. That's the grace of being chosen. There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when the crowd fades, the noise dies, and the phone stops ringing. You look around, and suddenly it's just you. No applause, no answers, no familiar support. And it hits you, you're alone. Not because you did something wrong, not because you failed anyone, but because elevation requires isolation. It's one of the clearest signs that you are on your way to something greater. You didn't lose them, they were removed. You didn't get left behind, you were set apart. Spiritual isolation isn't abandonment, it's alignment. It's heaven's way of saying, I want your attention now. See, people will celebrate you when you're doing what they understand. But when your growth starts to challenge their comfort, they pull back. When your purpose becomes louder than your past, your old circle starts to shrink. And that silence that used to scare you, it becomes the only place where God can truly speak, because you can't hear his instructions through constant distractions. You can't receive divine direction in a room full of opinions. So sometimes he has to clear the room. Sometimes he has to place you in a season where it's just you, him, and the process. It's not punishment, it's preparation. When God is about to elevate you, he pulls you away from the noise so you can grow without interruption. The cocoon is a lonely place, but it's where the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. No one sees the transformation. No one claps for the struggle. But when it's time to fly, no one can deny the change. That's what's happening to you. You are in the in-between. Not who you were, not yet who you're becoming. And that space is sacred. It's not for everybody. That's why people can't relate. That's why some doors had to close. Because what's coming next is too big to carry with people who only knew a smaller version of you. When you're chosen, your solitude becomes your sanctuary. It's where your identity is refined, where your strength is tested, where your faith grows roots so deep that no storm can shake them. You start to realize that being alone doesn't mean you're empty. It means you're being filled. Filled with clarity, with discipline, with power, with purpose. The distractions had to be stripped so you could discover what was inside you all along. Your gift, your vision, your calling. It was never lost. It was just buried beneath everything you thought you needed. The people who walked away weren't your source. The plans that failed weren't your destiny. The doors that closed weren't your only chance. And the quiet you're living through right now, that's your spiritual gym. Every day, you're being trained in the dark so you can perform in the light. Every morning you get up, even though no one's watching. God sees that. Every time you keep moving, even though your heart is heavy, he's tracking that. You don't need an audience to be faithful. The breakthrough isn't waiting for applause. It's waiting for obedience. Isolation is sacred because it teaches you to rely on something deeper than validation. It forces you to face your thoughts, confront your fears, and recognize that God didn't call you to blend in. He called you to stand out. And that kind of calling, it costs. It costs comfort, it costs company, it costs convenience. But what you gain in the process, wisdom, peace, power, alignment, is worth every lonely night, every silent tear, every unanswered prayer. Because he's not ignoring you. He's rebuilding you. When you're isolated, you're not being overlooked. You're being overseen. Heaven hasn't forgotten you. It's focusing on you. Because the next level of your life will require a version of you that only isolation could produce. You'll need discernment. You'll need resilience. You'll need clarity that only silence can bring. And when you walk out of this season, oh, they'll see it. They'll wonder how you made it. They'll ask where you went. But you'll know you went inward. You went deeper. You went higher. So don't curse the isolation. Embrace it. Sit with it. Grow in it. Because elevation always begins with separation. You weren't abandoned. You were chosen. You weren't forgotten. You were being formed. And when the time comes, when the doors open again, when the light hits your life, what comes out of the dark will not be the same. It will be elevated. It will be you, refined, anointed, unshakable, because you were willing to grow in the quiet while the world looked away. All your life you felt like the odd one out, like you were speaking a language no one around you could understand. They told you to tone it down. Be quieter. Play smaller. Stay in line. Don't question too much. Don't want too much. Just blend in. And for a while you tried, didn't you? You tried to shrink yourself into the spaces they created. You folded your fire, softened your edge, turned your power into politeness, just to make others comfortable. But deep down, it never felt right. That uneasiness you felt, that disconnect you couldn't explain, that wasn't a flaw in you. It was evidence of something greater in you. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to break the mold. You see, when God marks someone as chosen, he also marks them as different. Your vision will be too big for average minds. Your heart will be too deep for shallow circles. Your path will never make sense to people who were never called to walk it. And that's okay. You're not here to meet their expectations. You're here to exceed your purpose. That means there will be seasons where you're misunderstood, misjudged, misread. That means the road ahead won't be familiar, and the company around you may grow thinner. But don't you dare let that convince you that something is wrong with you. It just means you're becoming. You were never meant to be easily explained. You were never meant to follow the script. You were meant to disrupt it, rewrite it, redefine what's possible. The mold is meant for the masses, not the miracle. And make no mistake, you are the miracle. Your presence, your resilience, your persistence in a world that keeps trying to box you in. That is divine. The world will try to water down your fire, polish off your authenticity, and dull your shine to make you palatable. But purpose was never designed to be palatable. It was designed to pierce. It was designed to shift the room when you enter it, to challenge what's normal, to confront what's broken. So if you've been feeling like you don't belong, like the rooms you're in are too small for your spirit, it's not your imagination. That's your soul alerting you. It's time to step out of the mold. It's time to break every box they put you in. It's time to speak what they told you to silence, to dream what they told you was too big, to go where they told you you didn't belong. You weren't put here to impress the world. You were put here to impact it, and impact doesn't come from imitation. It comes from authenticity. Don't chase acceptance. Chase alignment, because acceptance can be taken away, but alignment, true alignment, comes from the one who made you. And he didn't make you to conform. He made you to transform. That means you will challenge the room. You will make people uncomfortable, not because you're rude or reckless, but because the light you carry exposes what's been hiding in the dark. And some people won't like that. Some will leave. Let them. Not everyone is meant to journey with the chosen. Some are only meant to observe from a distance while you walk into what they never had the courage to pursue. You're not too much. You're not too intense. You're not too bold. You are exactly as you were designed to be. And every scar, every struggle, every setback, they were never there to weaken your identity. They were there to refine it, to strip off the expectations and labels and lies the world placed on you so you could finally stand in your truth. The real you. The you that doesn't fit in. The you that questions. The you that breaks barriers and builds bridges. That version of you is not just allowed. It is required for your assignment. So walk into the room like you belong there, even if they stare. Speak like your voice matters, even if they ignore it. Build like the world needs what you're carrying, even if they doubt it. Because here's the secret, they don't get to validate what they didn't create. You are God-made, heaven approved, and this world, it will be better because you didn't fit in, because you refused to settle, because you dared to be different. You were never meant to be normal. You were never meant to be another copy. You are the original, the blueprint, the breakthrough in human form. And the sooner you stop apologizing for who you are, the sooner the world can receive what you were sent to give. Mold breakers may stand alone for a while, but eventually they become the reason others realize they can stand too. And now, after everything you've heard, after everything you've survived, after everything you've been, let me tell you this, you are not here by accident. You are not watching this, listening to this, or feeling this in your soul because you were bored, tired, or curious. No, this was meant for you. This moment was marked for you. This message was divinely timed to catch you right before you were about to give up, right before you settled for less, right before you made peace with staying small. You were interrupted by this because heaven needed to remind you who you are. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are becoming. And everything that's felt like chaos has just been construction. God has been breaking things off of you that were never meant to follow you into your future. He's been stripping you down to the version of yourself that can handle the vision He's about to release in your life. The delay was not denial. The detour was not destruction. The isolation wasn't punishment. It was positioning. You've been set apart because you were meant to lead, not follow. You were meant to change atmospheres, not adapt to them. You've spent too long waiting for someone else to affirm what God already confirmed, waiting for the right time, the right people, the right conditions. But chosen ones don't wait for permission. We walk in purpose. We don't need validation to move. We don't need popularity to be powerful. We carry something deeper than fame. We carry favor. And favor doesn't follow the rules. It doesn't ask for opinions. It doesn't seek approval. It just is. And if you're hearing this right now, it means favor is on your name. It means the shift is not coming. It's already begun. The reason the pressure has been so intense is because your assignment is so specific. The reason the warfare has been so personal is because your impact will be so powerful. The reason it's felt like no one understood you is because your calling wasn't meant to be understood. It was meant to be obeyed. Obedience is lonely sometimes. Purpose is heavy sometimes. But don't mistake pain for abandonment. What you're carrying is holy. And holy things are not handled casually. God is molding you in silence so He can elevate you in strength. You see, the world told you to sit down. God is telling you to stand up. The world told you to dim your light. God is telling you to burn brighter. The world told you to be realistic. God is telling you to remember the vision. You weren't created to play it safe. You weren't formed in your mother's womb just to pay bills and blend in. You were anointed for such a time as this. And this world is aching for truth, starving for light, desperate for voices that haven't been compromised. That's why your voice matters. That's why your gift can't stay buried. That's why your fire can't go out. It's time. Time to forgive yourself for every year you spent doubting. Time to release every lie you believed about your worth. Time to walk away from anything that keeps you small. And most of all, time to accept who you really are. Not the version others projected onto you, not the version fear trained you to become, but the real you, the one who doesn't shrink, the one who doesn't settle, the one who hears from God and moves accordingly. You've got something in you that no one else has, and it's time to stop hiding it. No more delay, no more excuses, no more fear disguised as logic. The mold has already been broken. The door has already been unlocked. The question is, will you walk through it? Will you stop pretending to be less so others feel more? Will you rise even if your knees are trembling? Will you trust the process even if you can't see the plan? Because you are chosen, marked, called, purposed, set apart, and the world needs you, not a watered down version, not a copy, not a mask. It needs your truth, your resilience, your courage, your love, your anointing, your presence. So tonight, don't sleep on yourself. Don't sleep on your gift. Don't sleep on your destiny, because God will not let you rest until you rise into what He made you for. You've come too far. You've endured too much. And now it's your time, not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, wake up, step up, speak up, show up, because the world has been waiting for you to remember who you are.